Hi, YouTube world. Again, it's Dr. Karina. Most of the topics of this channel are going to have to do with how important mental health is. With that said, I want to take this as a chance to say
right now that my opinions and views that will be expressed both today and in other videos are my own and do not reflect any entity that I work for or any other governing entity, and I just wanted to make that clear.
So what I would like to cover today is distress tolerance, and it actually is not a topic that I myself have come up with, but I'm hoping to share it with all of you today. Distress tolerance is what we call a crisis skill. It comes from a specific type of therapy that some of you may have heard of. Specifically, it's called dialectical behavioral therapy, or DBT. It's a very powerful way of restructuring thoughts. The doctor who sort of put this whole therapy together is Dr. Marsha Linehan. We may talk more in depth about her in future videos, although some of you may have heard of this tremendous healer. Dr. Linehan herself struggled with emotional problems, interpersonal problems, and this therapy has 4 cornerstones. So that's mindfulness, distress tolerance, emotion regulation, and the 4th is interpersonal skills with those close to you and also with acquaintances, co-workers. The way that the thoughts are restructured, our actions can change in a positive and effective way. The emotional problems, interpersonal problems, but I figured that distress tolerance would be a good opener to this channel. So just some definitions to start with. When we think of a crisis, most of us can sort of identify what that would relate to, but again, crisis is something that oftentimes is short term, though we usually don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, or don't see an end in sight. Usually it's something very intense, something very different, that we really feel a lot of pressure to solve and solve quickly. So a time to use survival skills is when you're experiencing a lot of intense emotional or physical pain, and you have to act on your emotions in a skillful way where things aren't made worse, and in a way where you can be effective as a person who's trying to reach their goals, whatever it may be in the moment. It's a good time to use crisis skills when you feel overwhelmed and you aren't sure what the next step is. And finally, there's a lot of inner turmoil, and that is a time to use a crisis skill because it helps to organize feelings, organize thoughts, and consequently organize actions. So today I just want to focus on sort of one aspect of distress tolerance. Now I want to just break those words up into 2. So we have distress, we have tolerance, and so simply we want to be able to tolerate whatever distress we're experiencing internally. Here you can see the first letter of each word kind of forms this acronym, IMPROVE, so that's the IMPROVE, and we're going to go through each of the letters in the acronym and see what this is about. So in the word improve, in the acronym improve, we have I, and that first letter stands for imagery. With imagery, We want to be able to visualize things that are calming for us, to visualize in the mind's eye. For instance, you may want to visualize that relaxing scene from a beach vacation that you were able to take last year, or visualize yourself taking whatever next step you need to reach your goals to the best of your ability during this time while we're all kind of staying at home. Another thing to try with imagery is if you don't have a lot of space at home and you're at home with a lot of family members and you kind of need to try to create your own space as much as possible, you can always go to a quiet corner and just imagine in your mind that you're kind of like in a secret room where you can kind of furnish it any way you like and set up shelving or closet space in your mind and kind of use that as a moment to step away from everything that's going on around us. Now, the next letter is M for meaning. And so when I speak about meaning, we want to be able to find some meaning in this. When everything seems so unpredictable, it's so hard to understand, whether we're thinking about the steps that our government is taking or whether we're thinking about how our family and friends are doing, it can be really overwhelming. So to find some meaning that is in accordance with your values and your beliefs can be powerful. So that can include reading something that is aligned with your values or listening to music that evokes certain feelings that help you be more aligned with your values. That's all valid. Another way to make meaning is try to sort of see the silver lining of a difficult situation, if possible. And the way to do that is to be grateful. Gratitude can help one get some meaning. Being grateful that you can breathe unassisted, of course. Grateful that you have a soft place to sleep on at night, food to eat. Also, very importantly for a lot of people during this time is reaching out to loved ones. And there can be a lot of meaning found in relationships during this time, even if it has to be done virtually. The next letter is P for prayer. Now, I realize this can be a loaded topic. Everyone has their own faith or has their own belief. Some don't believe that there is a God or gods, and that's a very personal decision. Prayer, referring to here, we're using it more as a way to find strength. So prayer can be meditation. Prayer can be speaking with your God, or prayer can be telling a loved one that you care about them. So prayer is more about joining with whatever higher power you subscribe to, whether that's God or feelings, praying to love, praying for love. It's whatever you individually want to make out of it. Next letter is R for relaxing. And so with relaxing, it's exactly what it sounds like. Often our senses can help with relaxation. And so drinking some hot tea or hot milk, taking a nice hot bath, reading a soothing book, or even reading a familiar book or seeing a familiar movie, where things are kind of predictable, that can be relaxing. For some, at-home exercise can be relaxing. A lot of people I know are doing online yoga, other online exercise classes where it's happening live. And so there's different ways of relaxing, even just sort of noticing where the tension is in your body and just sort of trying to relax those muscles. There's a whole science dedicated to muscle relaxation. So please feel free to look into that. Our next letter is O in improve, one thing. So O stands for one thing, and what we mean by that, focus on one thing in the moment. Now, this kind of relates back to when I mentioned mindfulness. When you kind of stay in the moment, kind of allows you to let go of everything racing around in your world and allows you to come back to the current moment. And a great way to kind of do one thing at a time or take on one moment at a time is to use your senses. Something simple would be to find 3 things that you see immediately around you. That could be your TV, your dining room chair, your bookshelf, then 3 things you can hear. It could be your air conditioning, or you could hear birds chirping outside your window. And then also 3 things you feel, such as your clothing on you, maybe how your hair is moving, anything like that. So using senses definitely helps one to kind of stay with one thing in the moment. So the next letter is actually one of my favorites, and it is V for vacation in our IMPROVE acronym. And I mean, obviously, we can't go on real vacations right now, but a vacation is just a break. Okay, so that could involve taking a break from everything going on and building a blanket fort with your kids. I'm not one for escapism, but taking a nap or just doing breathing exercises under your blanket on your bed. Treat yourself. Get some chocolates while reading a magazine, or, you know, a big vacation would be turning your phone off. If you can't do it for a whole day, you know, do it for a few hours and see how you feel. Sometimes turning off your phone gets us to a simpler time. See the final letter in improve. Okay, we finally got there with my little whiteboard. And it's a very long word, encouragement. Okay, so self-encouragement is what we're talking about here. You know, and that some people may feel strange doing this, but a great thing is to look in the mirror and say empowering things to yourself. If you want to do it privately, you know, that's totally understandable. But, you know, just saying things like, I will make it out of this. I've been through hard times before and I can get through this. Just remind yourself that things will be okay. And really, you can also just kind of cheerlead yourself, you know, with the "you go girl," or, you know, just anything like that, to kind of take a moment with yourself, show regard, positive regard for yourself by cheering yourself on and just encouraging yourself to put one foot in front of the other. So we have made it through my first video. Thank you for everyone tuning in. We have, again, imagery, meaning, prayer, relaxing, one thing, vacation, and encouragement. All right, and that spells improve. All right. Well, thank you everyone again. And in the comments, you can let me know if there's anything specifically that you would want to hear about next time in relation to mental health in the creative or artistic community. All right, signing off. Again, it's Dr. Karina. Thanks.